What's up, folks? JC Owens here. Rock My World, episode 23. Calling this one Perception Deception. Now, the reason I call it that is because, I'm sure you've heard it before. Perception is reality. Well, some people take that too far and think that, you're actually, building some kind of matrix type reality with your thoughts, which isn't exactly what it means. Um, Perception is reality is really the fact that your perception, like your eyes, is designed to filter things in a certain way. Okay, your personal beliefs, what you think to be true, what you believe to be true, will decide how you encode the things that you or decode the things that are coming into your through your eyes into your brain. Like it's going to change the way you see the world. All right? It builds your reality, not reality itself, but your reality. It decides how you react to things. All right? It decides how you see the situation, which then influences the way you behave. Now, if someone can control what you see and hear, they can control your perception. And then by controlling your perception, they can then sort of control you and predict what you're going to do based on what you believe, based on what they know you believe, I should say. Yeah, and over this past week, I've been engaging in quite a lot of debates and things that, really brought this back to the fore. And, I realized that, while I have, touched on things like logical fallacies and things like that before, that not everyone is, actually familiar with what they are and why they're important, right? And, that's what I want to talk about today mostly, right? I'm sure you've seen, these little memes or whatever of, one guy standing on one side, and he's from his perspective, it's a 9, and then from the other guy's perspective on the other side of the room, it's a 6, right? Most people can kind of get where that's going. Well, that's the game, right? Even Led Zeppelin told you sometimes words have two meanings. Just because, I use the word God doesn't mean that I mean the same thing that this other person means when they say God, right? It's like Freemasonry talking about, oh, well, you just got to believe in one God. Well, what exactly do they mean by that, right? It's kind of ambiguous, isn't it? And that's what our politicians and those that are, leading this free world, if you want to call it that. It's definitely not really that free, but either way, I digress. This is what they do. They use these things to fool the public. There's a good reason, many public school children are not even taught the trivium, quadrivium, the logical fallacies, and all these kind of things. So, you need to be on the watch out for these things. I'm going to give you a little bit of homework today. Look up the rest of the logical. I'm going to give you a few here, but, some of the more common ones. But I want you guys to go out and actually look up the common logical fallacies, some of the informal fallacies, and familiarize yourself with them. These things will help you not only, to protect, yourself from, being persuaded into doing things that you don't want to do or wouldn't normally do otherwise, but it will also help you, protect your position and defend it against those who would try and tear it down in front of others, right? Things like the ad hominem fallacy. You'll see that one all over the place these days. That is attacking you as a person and your character rather than handling the substance of your argument. That's going out and saying, oh, well, he's just a loser anyway. Why would you even want to listen to what he has to say? Or, even something like, well, he's not an expert. How would he know? And, these kind of things, these are logical fallacies, and they're a red flag that the person you're dealing with is not arguing in good faith, is unprepared to deal with your arguments, etc. It could be somebody that just doesn't know it's a logical fallacy and, is just doing the best they can to argue their flawed position. Or it could be somebody who knows for sure that they can't actually defend what they're wanting to push. So they're trying to sidestep your argument to keep from having to actually defend their own position. You'll see politicians use this one a lot. You'll see advocates for certain political positions use this a lot. This is something that is rampant here on the internet. You gotta watch for it. Another one, the bandwagon fallacy. The bandwagon fallacy, or appeal to the crowd, like that's going to be, someone saying, "Oh, well, everybody believes this. Like everybody believes it, so it must be true." No, 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 no. What is false is always false, even if like everybody believes it. And what's true is always true, no matter if nobody believes it. Like, you can't let them get away with this stuff. If you catch them using it, zero in on it, call them out, and don't let go. Do not let them slide by you. These people will act like, it's like nailing Jello to a wall sometimes, because they'll keep trying to do this kind of stuff and just switching from one fallacy to the other, right? It's kind of like a juggling act, right? You have the straw man fallacy. Straw man fallacy is misrepresenting your position and or making your position sound insane and extreme in order to make it easier to undercut and take down. This one's also super, 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 super common. Super common. Alright, next is the cousin of the appeal to the crowd fallacy. You have the appeal to authority fallacy. This one you see a lot in the mainstream media. You'll see it a lot from proponents of the mainstream media narrative. They will say, "Oh, well, this news station says, the government says, these experts say," like, they'll always try to appeal to these people and say, well, because they're in the position they're in, that obviously means they must know what they're talking about. It's like, well, no, not really. And especially these days when you have experts that uber specialize in things, that often means that that's really all they know. So they don't really know all the satellite information around that thing that would help them understand the bigger picture. So you couldn't really listen to them anyway. Another good one is, circular reasoning, right? You'll see proponents of evolutionary theory do this, that evolution is true because things have evolved. It's like, well, no, that you're just restating the same thing in a different way and hoping that that will slide it by people, right? These are just some of the common fallacies that you will find out here on the internet these days. That's a tiny few. There are many more, as well as many more informal fallacies that aren't exactly a formal fallacy, but are nonetheless a fallacy. Yeah. But either way, I hope that this prepares you all for what you might come up against in the future. This is what people will use to try and, undercut your arguments and get around the things that you're saying. Either way, though, I'll let it go there today. Have a good one, folks. Peace out.